Welcome back to TheChowTimePod. It's your host, Red. Got a video today from the Financial Coffee channel. Women telling us their worst financial decisions. Just love posting those L's. Please like and subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. Let's get that chow. It's chow time.
Being a fan of Taylor Swift has been the worst financial decision of my life.
Get ready with me while I tell you.
I do admit, people spend outrageous amounts on concert tickets and going to see artists. I'll maybe spend $50, $75 at most to go see like a nice comedy show. But anything other than that is a little too pricey.
About my biggest financial regret that I've made in my 20s. My university degree. Thanks for watching.
Here's why starting an OnlyFans was the worst decision I made in my life. I did not realize that I was literally selling parts of my soul and the money could have never made it worth it.
It's funny that I never realized. I think most of us men have been mentioning this to you probably throughout your whole career and beforehand.
I wish that someone would have warned me and told me that I was going to be later experiencing PTSD from the sexual trauma and the experiences that I was subjecting myself to on a daily basis. I did not know that I would later need to be in trauma counseling. It brought me into way darker places than I ever could have imagined, and I never want to go back there. I wish I could go back in time to who I was before I started doing all that stuff and just tell myself that the money is not worth it. Keep your happiness. And that's all I want to tell any girl who's thinking about starting an account. I just hope I can save even just one girl from going through the pain and the trauma that I am now going through because I subjected myself to that for the last couple years.
It's good. It's a good thing that she is doing this. Just sucks that you can't turn that clock for yourself.
Women might seem complicated at first, at least for us men, but once you understand how they think and how they act, they become very predictable.
Hi, my name is Allison. I'm 28 years old and I am going to pay off $28,000 of debt this year.
How are you going to pay off that much in a year? Even if you made $100 grand, to pay off that much debt in a single year is still a little tough.
I have a deal with myself that if I can do this by next January, I can go down to working 4 days a week during my life and then move to 3 days a week when I start a family.
I kind of get it, but this is where I think people, especially younger people, if you can get ahead in life by working more hours or working an extra job to get that extra money to do a little bit extra things or save extra, why wouldn't you? I don't get it. So again, I told you guys I went viral for that Disney clip thing. I make pretty good money. I make okay money at my normal job. I make pretty good money in YouTube. And I also do donut shop and business stuff. But I'll still go to Disneyland and go get merch and stuff like that. And I'll still go to, whatever certain things release, like Stanley Cups or something. And I'm like, oh shit, it's a special one that's going to be limited. I'm going to go grab like 10 of those bitches and resell them. Why? Because it's extra money. For very minimal effort of me going to, say, Target and trying to grab 10 of them, maybe an hour or two, and I can maybe make like a couple $100 profit in those hour or two. Why not? Why? Just do it, guys. It gets you ahead. It gets you extra money. For one, it actually gives you that hustle, that side hustle, and that mentality that as long as I keep doing stuff and keep moving forward, I'll probably be all right.
If there is one financial regret I have in my almost 30 years of living, it would be spending $30,000 on a wedding.
I'm in $71,000 worth of debt right now, so let's see how we got there. So let's start with credit cards. I have 4 credit cards.
Okay, and I'm not trying to be saying I'm like judging these people at my ivory tower. I fucked up when I was young. I got married young. I had super bad debt when I was young. I failed many businesses. I was probably like $30,000-$40,000 in debt. I got very lucky, and now I do okay. I'm debt free. Other than I did get a new car, but other than that, I don't have any debt, which is great. But when I was younger, I was an idiot like everybody else, or a majority of everybody else.
but only 3 of them are in use. To begin,
just in case you ever think I'm a good influence financially, you should know that I set myself a budget of $160 a month to spend on like fun purchases, whether it's like going out to eat or buying clothes or stuff like that. And today is July 5th, and I've spent $450 of that.
Because their feelings drive all the actions. And whenever those feelings change, they change their mind as well. And that's why they have closets full of clothes and shoes that they never wear.
Taking out student loans
with the tag still on, and they can't even return it now because they kept it for too long. Waste of money.
was the single-handedly worst mistake I've ever made in my entire life. At this point, like, a college education is pointless. It was pointless. There's no hope.
Are eyes real? They look so
I've been paying on my student loans for more than 13 years now. And I've more than paid back the amount that I took out. And then some because of interest. And there's all this like misinformation and false hope around forgiveness and qualifying payments and just...
Oh, shut up. To forgive that much debt is mostly forgiving women's debt. It is a financial decision that these people made. I do agree that they were tricked into it, majority of people, into going to college. But to forgive that kind of debt is unheard of.
And I checked the boxes.
Other than unless you're a bank or a corporation that's getting bailed out.
For 90% of the qualifying factors. But I'm going to have to pay on my loans for another 5 years minimum. And that's if there's even any type of program around that time for forgiveness before I can even qualify, even though I meet the qualifications now. But because I don't check that one last box, there's nothing that can be done. Nothing has made me feel more hopeless and just helpless and just...
People should really, that have degrees, should really look into becoming a civil servant. I believe if you become a civil servant and you work for the civil service or like, you know, the state / federal government and stuff, and you work for there for a few years, they do forgive your student debt. I've had a couple friends that have done this, so that's one way to go about it. That's probably the only way I know, is you have to become a civil service.
At full defeat than these student loans.
Oh, and even if you become a student service, you can't have like any defaults or any late payments or anything, or else you still don't qualify.
So I am known to make bad financial decisions.
Yeah. Women.
Meet my bad financial decision.
Oh,
this is Slate. He was a breeder surrender because he ate a belly full of rocks. And I took over his care. And yeah, this is my newest bad financial.
This is probably the biggest financial decisions that women make constantly, is picking up pets and animals, strays, all the time. I don't know how many girls I've dated that cared so much about strays and stuff. They just wanted to pick them up every time we drove by one. It's just like, oh God, this is why you guys are so broke.
Decision.
I'm not trying to be an asshole to animals either, but strays, I'm not going to go out of my way to protect strays in a sense.
That dog is so cute.
It is.
I have 2 dogs, and I love them more than some family members. But boy, let me tell you something. They are a big financial liability.
Oh, he has a nice big property.
Because those vet bills never come at the right time, people.
Ah, look at it. He's a fluffy.
Bad financial decisions I've made in the pursuit of love. So for Christmas one year, I was dating somebody who decided to get me tickets to his favorite comedian out in New York City, which is somewhere that he knew very well. It wasn't a place that I enjoyed visiting. But in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, I've never had somebody plan a trip for me. But let me tell you, he planned literally nothing except for getting those tickets because the Airbnb was not booked. We were going to stay with his mom, he decided. And he did not book any flights or anything else. Time comes to book the flights. He sends me some flights and he's like, you know, we should probably book these soon. And what do I do? Because I'm constantly trying to earn love. I go, hey, you know, why don't we just use my points? He's like, no. I feel weird, you know, having you pay for our flights for a Christmas gift that I got you. In the back of my mind, I'm going like, yeah, Chloe, that's fucking weird. Let him pay.
What are you doing?
But no, instead I say the thing that I say so many times in this relationship because I know it works on him is I say, well, if the roles were reversed and you had 100,000 points, wouldn't you just pay for it too? And he's like, you got me there. You got me there. He knew I was going to offer that. He knew I was going to say these things.
100,000 points is a lot. I got like 400,000 points.
So I'm like, I got you, baby. And I book the flight. 80,000 points right out of the window. And 3 days later, we break up. Yes. And it was the type of breakup where I could tell he had been planning it. And so I just look at him and I'm like, why did you let me buy those flights to the Christmas gift that you got me? And he just stared at me blankly. And of course, I can only use the credit if he is traveling with me. Yes. Yes. So don't try to earn love, girlies.
Oh, by the way, she described herself as a money coach. Make it make sense.
Money coach.
What does she mean by, don't try to earn love, girlie? Does she mean getting used by someone of the opposite gender and not getting anything in return, like men have been used for centuries and centuries? I have to be honest, people. It really warms my heart to see this. A woman spent a big amount of money on a man, but didn't get anything in return. That is so refreshing. Yes,
nice to see.
Yes. Welcome to equality, ladies.
I'm in $71,000 worth of debt right now, so let's see how we got there. So let's start with credit cards. I have 4 credit cards, but only 3 of them are in use. To begin, which is actually a Discover loan, like personal loan that I took out to pay off my actual credit card.
Never take those personal loans, guys. Those things will fuck you up.
Cards because the interest rate for the personal loan was cheaper than the interest rates on each card. So it's saving me money in the long run, paying it off. But for about a year, I wasn't working and was kind of depressed, so it got racked up a little bit. Next is the big kahuna. It's the student loans. I regret going to college, but I regret how expensive it was and living on campus, okay?
Women keep the economy alive. Let me rephrase that. Women drive the economy and society's overall spending, but they spend a lot of money on useless stuff. That's also why the majority of the credit card debt and even student loan debt is owned by women. If it wasn't for how much money they spend, the economy would be in big trouble. Just go to any mall or any department store.
See, this is the part where it's just like how our economy is built and how media pushes women to spend so much money. It has to be that way in a sense almost. If women stopped spending money the way they did and they started saving in mass like men did, the economy would collapse.
Is mostly filled with women. Even the men that you see at the mall, majority of the time,
they
even
women.
Go there because of their wife, their girlfriend, or their fiance. And that's why corporations, the media, and politicians bend over backwards to pander and to cater to them. They are also very influenceable. That's why advertisers, big business, and the government bend over backwards to cater to them as well. Big business want their money, and politicians want their votes.
If there is one financial regret I have in my almost 30 years of living, it would be spending $30,000 on a wedding. The wedding industry has all of us...
See, this part... Okay. This part doesn't affect my family as much, the wedding stuff, because we spend $30,000-$40,000 on weddings. But our weddings are profitable. At least my particular family. When my sister had her wedding cost about $30,000, $35,000. And we made about 70, 80,000-ish. So we made a profit of 30,000, 35,000 or so. So it's a little weird. I know like Americans don't do it the way Asians do because Asians just give money. Like each of the family members will give like a couple $100 to the couple as a gift. So that's why it always, makes a profit. Not every family makes a profit. I do realize this. I do realize that my family is a huge family. So of course, hundreds here, hundreds over there, with times 100, that equals quite a bit of money.
Girlies in a chokehold, making us feel like we need to prove something to everyone around us and have this massive, expensive, beautiful wedding. I fell under that and became brainwashed and went from eloping and having something casual and under $5K to having this $30K wedding in San Francisco with only 50 people.
Wait, $30K for 50 people? Damn, at least ours is like 100 to like 150 people for $30K. Come on.
At the end of the day, I look back at this and I think about how much of that money I could have used for something so much more valuable. If your wedding planning isn't about you and your spouse and it's about everybody else, don't do it. Just elope and save their money.
That would be every woman. 99%.
Guys, don't be mad at women if they don't know what they want, because most of the time they don't know what they want. Don't get fooled by the beautiful eyes, the big booty, or the shiny curly hair. They are really confused and indecisive. How do you know that? They want something today, but the very next day, or even a few hours later, they hate that same thing that they just wanted so bad. Or they might hate something today, but they love it tomorrow.
This is the part I hated about my ex-wife. I probably don't mention her that much, but just women in general. You know, when they buy things, they're like, oh, they want to get into a hobby. They want to get into something, and they'll buy everything for that hobby. And then 2 days later, they get rid of the hobby because they didn't enjoy it anymore. But they just spent literally all the money that a normal person would that did that hobby on a normal basis. That pisses the shit out of me. Like, if I was going to spend money on something, say like my bowling balls, you best believe I'll be using that bowling ball for at least 2 to 3 years. Every single time I go bowling, there will be chips, there will be fucked up shit all over it, and I'll still be using that shit. Why? Because I want to get my money's worth. I want my money's worth. My shirts, I have some shirts that are literally 8 years old. All these black shirts, I have some that are 8 years old. They're a little faded. You know, they're not so like, they're like an off black now. I don't give no fucks. I still wear those shits.
Make it make sense, people. Women are shapeshifters. What do I mean by that? Whatever they want changed a lot, and it's never the same.
They're a
Their
water
feelings
bottle.
set the tone for all of the decisions. Have you ever noticed that when they talk, they say, I feel like a lot, because their feelings drive all the actions. And whenever those feelings change, they change their mind as well. And that's why they have closets full of clothes and shoes that they never wear.
Buying a house has probably been the worst decision of my life.
See, I know you guys say there are some people that bought houses when they were cheaper, and some people paid off houses and stuff. But I don't believe buying a house is financially viable and a good decision for a majority of people out there. A good chunk of people that don't make enough income to support to barely pay for a mortgage. They're not going to be able to pay for the repairs and all that extra maintenance.
So I'm 26 years old, work full time, have my career, been to grad school. And so naturally buying a house was kind of the next step in life, right? Like that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to buy a home, invest in real estate, build equity, because it's going to set you up. That's a smart financial move, right?
True.
And of course, social media makes it seem all like rainbows and butterflies. You can invest in a fixer-upper, renovate your home, build equity, and
if you know how to fix the home
and flip it for a profit, and it's all great, and it's the best financial decision you can make, right? In my case, it's just become a nightmare. The house is a total money pit. I have spent tens of thousands of dollars more than I could have ever anticipated. I'm living in the middle of renovations. Half my house doesn't really even have a floor or a working subfloor. The other half doesn't really have walls. And that's how I'm living right now. Because I've blown through my budget on things that were necessary but weren't caught during an inspection. And so I'm stuck. So I figured I'm stuck here. I gotta make the most of it. And why not share this experience so hopefully someone else can learn from my mistakes. So follow along if you want to see the worst parts of homeownership.
And this is what I found very funny, okay? Your girl will complain to you like this. Baby, I have nothing to wear. But meanwhile, she has a closet full of clothes and shoes. When your girl tells you that she has nothing to wear, this is what she really means.
Don't buy me new clothes.
Based on how I feel right now, I hate the clothes and the shoes that I have in my closet. Women don't normally have independent ideas. Let me explain. If your girl all of a sudden changes the way she acts toward you, or the way she dresses, how often she goes out, or simply if her behavior changes all of a sudden, it is because of somebody. Someone put it in her brain. Maybe it's her best friend, or her mom, or her sister, or some random stranger on the internet. Or maybe she's getting attention from a guy she likes. Guys, they never have original ideas. It always comes from someone. So if you want to know a woman better, get to know who she spends her time with outside of you. And most importantly, watch closely how they interact. You will learn a lot, my friend.
Shout out to the Financial Coffee channel. You know, it's funny. I made mistakes, but I wouldn't have posted all that shit on the internet the way they do. And at least when I was growing up, the internet wasn't as big as this either. So, women, stop posting your L's. People see this. Please subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. I'll catch you guys next time. Ciao.